Welcome to the lecture series of Mobile Computing and Wireless Communication. I am your instructor, Ms. Alpa Rupala. So today we are going to learn regarding to the WiMAX. So we will learn today WiMAX first of all, then after WiMAX architecture, and then after WiMAX three-layer architecture. So basically our first topic is WiMAX. What is WiMAX? So the WiMAX is a acronym for Mobile Worldwide Interoperability for Microwave Access. It is acronym for Worldwide Interoperability for Microwave Access. So basically what we have already learned that LAN, MAN and WAN. We are having three type of network, that is LAN, MAN and WAN. Okay. So whenever we are converting this wired network into the wireless, then the term will be changed. So suppose if we are converting the LAN into the wireless form, then it will be the Wi-Fi or wireless LAN. If we are converting the MAN into the wireless form, then it will be the WiMAX or wireless MAN. So your WiMAX is nothing but the wireless MAN. Okay, and when we are converting the WAN into the wireless form, then it will be the wireless WAN. Okay, so already we are having example of wireless WAN, that is your WWW. Obviously you are getting the internet to your home by two ways. It could be a wired form or it could be a wireless form. So basically what is the WiMAX technology? We can also call this technology as a IEEE standard, that is 802.16. It is also known as IEEE 802.16 standard. So here you can see we are having the WiMAX system architecture. So already we know that we have already established the base station in GSM architecture, right? That BSC and BTS, we all know that, right? Then we are having MSC, same as we are having the switching center. Okay, we are having the base station and we are having the service provider main station. So basically whatever access you were having through the wires, only the last line, okay, only the last line must be wireless for this kind of WiMAX system architecture. Likewise, you can see that we are having the residential area or any office building. On that residential area or office building, we have mounted one tower, one small tower. Now that small tower is sending and receiving signal to the one base station, and there can be multiple base station also, which they are transferring data from one base station to another, from one to another, from one to another, like a relay race. Okay, so basically your signal will be transmitted to the main switching center or main base center by one different towers. So firstly we are having the subscriber who are having antenna mounted on the top of them, right? And this particular things data rate can be of 2 megabits per second to 155 megabits per second. Okay, and the last line must be wireless, that is the last line from the residential area to the first base station must be wireless. So now station to station the data will be received to the main base station. Now the main base station to the switching center, both will be connected by two ways. It could be of wireless or it could be of wired. Okay, it could be of wireless or it could be of wire, both is acceptable. Okay, but the last line must be wireless. Now from the switching center we can have the main hub of your internet service provider. Okay, so basically we can say that this is the system architecture. The best example of it, that you are having one company named as Ticona, which they are providing internet to your home by the wireless communication. They are establishing tower from one place to another place. They are also establishing multiple towers if you are far from their center. Okay, and the service is provided, that is your internet service is being provided by the wireless form. Okay, but obviously we all know that if something is having advantage, then it is also having disadvantage. If we are removing wire, but the data rate will also be reduced. If we are using wires, then the data rate will be somewhat good. But if we are using wireless WiMAX, then the data rate will be somewhat not that much of compared to the wired architecture. So this is the WiMAX system architecture. Now if we talk about the WiMAX 3-layer protocol architecture, you can see in example that we are having the physical layer, then we are having the MAC layer, in which the MAC layer we are having convergence sublayer, common part sublayer, and security sublayer. So convergence sublayer, common part sublayer, security sublayer, and physical layer. Now physical layer is a layer 1 and MAC layer is a layer 2. MAC layer is further divided into 3 parts, that is convergence, common part, and security. Then how this architecture is 3-layer architecture? The question mark? Okay, we can see that in diagram we are having only 2 layers, but we are calling this architecture as a 3-layer architecture because from the MAC layer, the first part of it, that is convergence sublayer, is having very crucial or important part. So we are considering that particular layer as a separate one also. We can. Okay, that's why this particular protocol architecture name is 3-layer protocol architecture. But if we are talking into the depth or into the depth of it, then the MAC layer is divided into 3 parts. Okay, and from them one part, that is the convergence sublayer, is again having very crucial functions, and due to that this particular layer is considered as a separate layer. Okay, now if we talk about the first layer, that is the physical layer. So the physical layer is having the same functionality as we have seen in your OSI model or TCP/IP model or GSM or GPRS. All the functionalities, that is of the modulation, demodulation, multiplexing, demultiplexing, data transmission, data bit synchronization, transmitter and receiver synchronization, all the functionality will be provided by your physical layer same as. So, but what will be the normal, other than that, the spatial functionality that will be provided in the WiMAX protocol architecture? So, if we talk about the WiMAX protocol architecture, then obviously we are using multiplexing, so we are using multiple access also, right? So, multiple access technique, which is we have already learned that in GSM we are using FDD, okay? In DECT we are using TDD. In WiMAX we can use both. We can use FDD and we can use TDD. But if we talk about the TDD transmission, already we all know that in TDMA, basically if we are using TDMA, then synchronization will be very crucial. Okay, we must need to consider that the transmitter and receiver must be synchronized. But if we are talking about the FDD, that is your FDMA part, so basically the synchronization is not that much of crucial, but we are dividing our broadband into the narrow band. That is the basic disadvantage. So if we talk about the TDD, then uplink and downlink can be accessed simultaneously. Okay, because we have separated, sorry, we cannot access simultaneously because we have separated the time, that this time will be for uplink and this time will be for downlink. But if we talk about FDD, then uplink and downlink can be used simultaneously. That obviously for this particular frequency for 24/7, that will be allocated for uplink, and this particular frequency that will be separately allocated for downlink. So if we are using TDD, then we can do work simultaneously, but if we are using TDD, then we cannot do work simultaneously. But the FDD is reducing our bandwidth. Obviously we are converting our broadband into the narrowband again. And obviously we all know that what is the advantage and disadvantage of having broadband. Okay, so obviously and next one, we can also use the half duplex FDD process. Now next one is medium access control layer. So medium access control layer is further divided into 3 parts, that which we have already learned: convergence sublayer, common part sublayer, and security sublayer. So what is the basic work of the MAC layer? So MAC layer is basically working for the broadcasting broadband connection. It will be connection oriented or connection less. It will be working for the error control and error mechanism, correction mechanism. Okay, and for if we talk about the data transmission, the data transmission will be done according to the some proper packet structure, format structure, and that format structure is known as MAC SDU in WiMAX. Okay, MAC, that is Medium Access Control Service Data Unit. This is the structure of your WiMAX data transmission, which is known as MAC SDU. So basic, if we talk about the MAC layer functionality, then all the functionality we have discussed, but the main functionality of MAC layer in WiMAX is what to transfer the MAC SDU from transmitter to receiver. Okay, the transfer the MAC SDU from transmitter to receiver. Now, what is the functionality of convergence sublayer? So basically, convergence sublayer is very crucial after getting data into the proper format of MAC SDU. The convergence sublayer is transmitting that MAC SDU data from one place to another place. Okay, it is transferring data from one place to another place, but it is transferring data from one place to another place via common part sublayer and security sublayer. So whatever security we want to perform, that will be performed into the security sublayer, and the common part layer will have some different functionality. Now this convergence sublayer is again divided into two parts, that is asynchronous transmission mode convergence sublayer and packet convergence sublayer. Now this asynchronous transmission mode convergence sublayer is basically used in the ATM network. Okay, and the packet convergence sublayer will be used for the IPv4 or IPv6 addressing. Now, what is the functionality of the common part sublayer? So common part sublayer is basically working for the bandwidth allocation, connection management, scheduling, connection control, automatic repeat request, and QoS information. So these all are the functionality of the common part sublayer. Now the last one is security sublayer to provide authentication and authorization and security by the use of encryption and decryption and ciphering. They all will be provided under the security sublayer. So the security sublayer is basically using two type of protocols. First one is encapsulation protocol and second one is PKM protocol. Okay, encapsulation protocol, that is basically used for the ciphering purpose, and PKM, that is the private key management protocol, that will be used for the MS and BSS related data transfer private key exchange. Okay, we are exchanging the private key from the MS to BSS. So for that key exchange security, we are using this PKM protocol. So thank you. We have learned today regarding to the WiMAX and WiMAX system architecture and WiMAX protocol architecture. We will meet in our next lecture.